Hey guys, welcome to the Silver Gold Saver channel. In today's metals and markets segment, I'm going to talk about why gold and silver are money. If you recall my last metals and markets video, I asked a very important question, what is money? And in that video, we established that money is defined as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. So clearly, gold and silver meet all three definitions, right? So a medium of exchange, historically, our coinage in the United States had silver and gold. So in fact, gold and silver have been used as a medium of exchange much longer than the US dollar. The paper currency has been used as a medium of exchange. This has been used for centuries as a medium of exchange. A unit of account. So clearly, gold and silver can be divisible. This is $1. This is $1.50. You can also have quarters. So it's divisible, and it is a unit of account because it is standard in its weight and measures, right? So two of these is exactly the same, is exactly double the silver content, right, as one of them. So standard weights and measures and divisible. Store of value. Now, this is a really interesting point that in 1964, the minimum wage in the United States was $1.25. This is not exactly $1.25. I don't have quarters with me today. But it used to be $1.25, and each of these has 0.36 ounces of silver. And if you multiply that by the current price of silver today, which is around $17, that equates to around $6 a coin, which is around $18 for all three of them. And that is approximately the minimum wage in the United States, depending on which city and whatnot. So it is clearly a store of value. And same with the gold coin, right? So in 1926, this was $20. You could buy $20 worth of goods. In today's dollars, even though it still says $20, this is worth close to $1,700, right? So it retained its value. It's a good store of value. Now, big shout out to the inefficient stacker who asked a very important question during that last video, and that was, in order for something to be money, it has to have a level of acceptability. That's a really thought-provoking question, and I would say that in addition of gold and silver being used as being accepted, right, as money for many centuries, not just in the United States but throughout the world. It was accepted as a medium of exchange. Our US dollar, in fact, was backed by gold and silver. And that's an important thing, right? Because remember that the silver certificate I showed in the last video, this says that there is on deposit in the treasury $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. So this represented this. Now, of course, they changed the paper to no longer say that. And that's an unfortunate thing because, before, the paper represented gold and silver, and the paper was a store of value, and it was accepted, but they changed it. We still accept the paper, but it no longer is backed by anything. It's no longer backed by gold or silver. So again, I would say that if you go to any other country besides the United States and you had paper currency, you may have a harder time if you came to the United States and exchanging your paper currency for, goods and services. I understand that the United States being the world reserve currency, it's generally accepted in most countries because it's the most powerful currency, or one of them. But I would also mention that even if you had the peso or the ruble or the yuan, that may not be accepted everywhere. But I would venture to say that gold, especially gold and silver as well, but especially gold, is accepted everywhere. You can always at least trade for currency and then buy something, right? So that it may take an extra step if the other person does not know the value of what you have. Where is gold in relation to the United States Constitution? Interestingly, I did some research on this. Gold and silver are actually mentioned just once in one clause in the United States Constitution, and that is Article 1, Section 10, which states that no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. And that's literally the only place where the word gold and the word silver appears in the United States Constitution. But it's also a very important clause because, in my opinion, that establishes gold and silver as money, because only money can pay off debts, right? So that's an important thing to consider. And in the Constitution, the word money is actually not defined, but in that phrase, I would venture to say that establishes effectively that gold and silver are money. We talked about the liquidity of money, of gold rather, in the context of the world. The other thing that I would say makes gold, especially gold, money, is that it is considered a tier 1 capital, according to the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, which is generally the central bank for central banks. And what a tier 1 asset effectively is that it's for banks, they need a source of funding, right? And so it can either come from stockholders' equity, right, common stock, or retained earnings. So they make a profit, they keep it in their balance sheet. It is capital, and it's risk-free capital that the bank can use to lend. That's an important consideration because in order for a bank to be solvent, it has to have a certain amount of liquid capital, tier 1 capital, and it is recognized by the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, that gold is a tier 1 asset, is tier 1 capital. So the gold held by central banks in their balance sheet is basically risk-free. So that's what I have for you today. I will venture to say, and this is kind of an important consideration, that gold is a monetary asset. Silver has become an industrial asset. So that's somewhat controversial because I just mentioned that gold and silver are money and they fit the definition of money. They have been used as money for many, many centuries, but it's shifted a little bit in today's terms, where silver has become more of an industrial asset. It's used in electronics. Its most important attribute being a really good conductor of heat and electricity, makes it kind of a more valuable as an industrial asset than gold. But gold very much is kind of a monetary asset. It is being hoarded by central banks. It's still used in some currencies. It's still used in exchange, right? So this is literally legal tender, right? It is minted by the United States. It has the denomination in it. I can exchange this for $50 if I wanted to, but I won't. This is still legal tender. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, if you agree or disagree with the concept of gold and silver as money, and let me know your thoughts on what, if you think that gold is more money than silver. I'd love to know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you.